Hello, it's the non-playing guy, and yeah, okay. So review of several Easy A's. We have these; they've been out a little while. People are calling them mid. Now I've been busy, so I'm a bit behind. Who the hell cares? You don't watch this anyway. So a little bit about them then. Now, obviously, these two, this and Janemba, are really, really good units to have an Easy A. Makes sense for this guy. We had the STR Vegito, right? So let's just jump straight into it. Previously, reasonable. You could take them into red zone. That's how good they were, right? So it's only fitting that they are made even better, I suppose. Everyone's favourite unit is still more relevant. 120%, 30% damage reduction. We had stats on super attack, which is really nice. Rainbow key spheres, of course, when we transform, we have like guaranteed crits, we have a good amount of dodge, you name it. So now we have an Easy A, and we have quite a lot of change. It's not just like a small change. So we have 2 key 200%, which is nice. Bear in mind, LRs don't change from this. They do not have a stat boost, but the passive will indeed have a reflection. So even at 55%, it's a solid amount of defense, really good attack. There's absolutely no problem there. In fact, one dupe I always say is by far the best. Nearly 13,000 defense and more than 20,000 attack is actually a lot, actually. So again, huge amount of difference. May only be 80%, but I'm telling you, you will feel it, especially when you have them on like a proper team. Of course, it's a Dokkan Festival LR, so they get the additional treatment, and it's 180%. It's like AGL LR Gohan for the Kamehameha, right? So again, pretty good all around there. So yeah, 200% and 2 key, why not? So we get an additional 50% stats on super attack. The super attack been buffed the right way round. You stack attack, 50% defense for the turn, and you greatly stack attack, greatly raise defense for the turn again. So you have damage reduction. You now get more stats, and that attack stat will go up pretty bonkers. 40% damage reduction. Just to let you know, it's not as if 30% wasn't to be trifled with, but you see a big difference between 30 and 40%. The extra 10 goes a huge long way into just viability of this unit. Now, I'm not saying they're a slot 1 unit, absolutely not. In fact, you probably want several super attacks to build up that defense even for the turn, and then allows you to have that damage reduction capability, right? Just fleshes it out a bit more. Okay, randomly changes key spheres to rainbow, it's nice. 2 key per rainbow, so this is all about the same. Launch an additional attack, 70% chance to super. That's actually really good because again, you get a huge chunk of defense and attack just on either of them, so that's great. Additional 50% attack, chance to launch an additional super attack. Oh, you're guaranteed, right? 1 rainbow key sphere gives you a guaranteed additional super attack. Wow, that's pretty nuts. 50% to stats, additional 20% damage reduction for the turn when you enter 70% HP or less at the start of your turn. Interesting. So that's about usually when you can transform. So they allow you to use this unit for a little bit longer for the turn. Right, if you fall below the transform threshold. Yeah, because these hasn't changed. It's 70% or more, whereas Vegito's is 77% or less. So again, it's not as great, but mind you, to be fair, that's still not so bad. Let's have a look. So, well, I mean, to be fair, you can still use these dudes. I mean, they still get a huge chunk of defense, more so than the rest. They didn't stack, so fair enough. But again, it's still a lot. You still have 40% damage reduction, right? I mean, that's still a lot. And then, of course, you have guaranteed additional super attack. Basically another one, so it's 3 supers. Your hidden potential system. That's pretty nuts. But yes, now we'll transform. Again, it's still the same, but it is what it is. So now we're going to have a look at what this guy does. Previously, we get a little bit of HP, huge amount of stats, super effective. You get your crits. You get damage reduction, which is what the original Vegito, well, I say original Vegito, the STR one didn't have when he transformed. So, you know, that's something. But now we get quite a bit more. You still only get 30% HP back. Now, I feel like that should be a full heal. I feel like that's a bit cheap. 250%, by the way, is pretty nuts. 5 key, that 5 key pretty much means you can use them on any team. That's insane. 77% on super attack. You greatly raise attack and defense with the turn, greatly raise attack and defense for 3 turn, and lower enemy attack and defense. Is that the first time we've seen that? That might be the case. In that case, that's really good. But yeah, still, you greatly raise for several turns. That just means even great. Guaranteed crits across the board, just no matter what. So your normals are going to hit quite nicely. 40% damage reduction, same as last, so that's nice. Rainbow Key Sphere, still 3 per Rainbow Key Sphere obtained. That's nice, works well with the 5 key. You're guaranteed to get the, well, you're basically going to be auto super it. The stat buff applies to any one of these. This does apply for 3 turns, so you don't lose it on the next rotation, granted, but again, either one would work. 77% attack, additional super attack and guards with just 1 key sphere. So you guard guaranteed super with a rainbow key sphere. That's pretty insane. Like, look at this. You get this, you get all this. 1 rainbow key sphere. That's pretty nuts. 40% damage reduction, another 40. Seize the enemy super attack for the first 5 turns. So your first 5 turns are immortal. 80% damage reduction. Guard with 1 rainbow. And by the way, this isn't on attack. This is just if you'll have that slot 1 period just by picking up a rainbow key sphere. So you can use this guy in slot 1 for the first 5 turns. The dude is essentially immortal. When past that, to be fair, you still are pretty strong past that, but by then, if you haven't wrapped up the fight, you're probably going to be floating them off, or maybe slot 2, right? When the enemy is hit by the ultra super attack, you nullify unarmed super attacks at this character for the duration of that turn. 50% chance to dodge. Now this is 50% chance to dodge the enemy super alone, so it's not actually any attack, but I suspect that this guy isn't going to feel a normal. I don't think that's going to bother him. He's built out really well. I struggle to see how people think he's mid. Like, I suppose you want to use, I mean, to be fair, he's very powerful, right? So you're going to be using him in the top tier events. We're talking, well, the miraculous battles can be pretty nuts. The Blue Kaioken Goku, the UI Goku, the Beast Gohan is pretty tough. Most people can get very close to the end, and this is one of those units that might just push them over. That being said, for the first few turns when you pop this guy, not one of those bosses can hurt this guy, not a single one, because again, you've got 80% damage reduction with guaranteed guard, essentially. I mean, you'd be daft if you didn't get a rainbow, but I mean, with guaranteed crits, you'd be cutting through them in no time. Crits are the one sure way of getting through an enemy's defense, especially when they have damage reduction. You'd just be able to cut right through it, so that's great. But yeah, obviously the teams that you can work them on and the people here, I still see people running these two, by the way, which is epic. Yes, Vegito is quite broken when he transforms, there's absolutely no doubt. But then, like, well, to be fair, the 9th anniversary unit here is kind of ass, but I still see a lot of these teams being run, like pretty much all of these, like, in fact all of it, including this guy. He might indeed be a few years old now, but he is still highly useful in this form with his counters, with his damage reduction. He has 30, by the way, for the first few turns. He has counters, and if they're spec for crits, it's game over for the enemy. This guy who can stack previously, you know, it's just like, really the only real weak link is this guy. This is now the direct partner. Came in during the, was it the 8th anniversary? 7th anniversary? 7th anniversary. Wow, mad to believe that they're a few years old. But yeah, 7th anniversary, pretty powerful when they came out, absolutely so. And even when this guy transforms, right, they did improve the, they did improve this, which was a little better. But yeah, no. So, I mean, he is still powerful. You get a full HP, which, come on, even something from the 7th anniversary got this. Dude, come on. I mean, very similar, super effective, guaranteed crits pretty much, right? You know, 3 keeper rate. You kind of get the same idea. Only difference is you have comparable stats. So that's why people are still running this guy. Comparable stats. They do basically the same thing. Greatly raised defense, you know. Yeah, okay, you don't get a greatly raise on the 12, but it wasn't exactly difficult to get this. Still lower attack and defense, so again, it's not the first time we've seen this. So again, this unit can still perform. We still have a 200% lead for this guy, which means you have a perfect linking partner for this guy. So hey, you know, because what are we talking? All 7 links? And what are we? Key and attack? Seriously, these units are going to be hitting numbers that are just going to be on the Broly level. Well, maybe not Broly, but the point is they're going to be hitting very hard. But anyway, yeah, that's it for this video. I think they're really good. We're talking to teams that you can have a look at. We're talking like Time Limit, Powerful Comeback, Overworld Warriors, Connected Hope, Fusion. These are the teams that really need it, especially Overworld Warriors. That team relies on the AGL Super Saiyan 3. If you do not have him, prepare to struggle. But now you got this unit. There are a few other Easy A's that are inbound, but for the most part, yeah, no, it's huge having him for like these 3, 4, 5 teams that they're on. Yeah, you can always make a case for every single one of these, but they're pretty stacked. But yes, anyway, that's it for this video. They're not mid, they are absolutely demons. But yeah, anyway, that's it. I've been the normal playing guy. You've been a lovely audience. It's more stones to do, so brilliant. 10 stages, 30 stones plus your missions. Brilliant. Save for the 10th anniversary, sure. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, and bye bye.